Hey there again. I'm back after a pretty long hiatus. We're taking a look at Quest playing Medic on CP Sunshine. Let's get started. I don't know how useful this will be for Quest and anyone watching because I don't really know much about this map, but I'm sure I can comment on general like heal order stuff. The rollout seems pretty good. You gave your scouts a really late buff. I don't know, the rollout on this seems really bad for Medic, but there's not much you can do about it. I think you should delay it a bit not to eat that damage, because for a while there you were one rocket. Yeah, I think it was a good idea to get back. Initially I was going to say you should push up, because I thought your team was losing, but then they decided to go like underneath and it was really weird. But yeah, like if I don't know, I expect your team to kind of get mulched in the next 3 seconds from after that roamer bombed, but they didn't. So I was just gonna mention that if you expect everyone to die, you should probably just go in, cause like if they're gonna die really quickly, you're not gonna get out anyway. So I don't like, yeah. I think most good teams enter lobby through this way. Oh, this is a free kill. I'd probably still go off that. You should have probably coordinated with that guy to arrow him. Getting on the point here is great. I don't think you need to be moving around as much. I do that too, and it's probably better off just to be like the furthest point away from those stickies. But yeah, it's just habit to be always moving there. But yeah, that was pretty good by you. I don't know, I questioned one of the flashes, the catch the falling soldier, but it didn't really matter. It should have been nice if you got the scout there, but I think you were trying to. That was pretty good. I don't know, you could have tried to arrow the demo, that was about the only different thing you could have done there. And obviously moving into this area, you should have been looking behind you, because there was really a very low likelihood that the things that your people were killing could aggress on you unless they surfed a rocket or something, but you had a couple scouts there, so it was probably not going to be a big deal. I don't know, Medic's really more of a management of just like basic mechanics. Like there was an opportunity for you to just, I don't know what you're doing here either, it's kind of weird, but there was an opportunity, like you always want to be looking for opportunities to look at things that your heal targets aren't, just to get a good depth of understanding of what's going on. I feel like you shouldn't be backing away from that roamer. Like as soon as he backs out into under, like that's probably the safest place, because like your team is not going to let him get past, and you know, if you're getting aggressed by one way, I would imagine it's coordinated, so I'd expect people to come from another door. So if everyone's going to cover one door and he's definitely not going to get through, going away from it is just going to make you more vulnerable to like a flank.
Alert. Our control point is being captured.
I feel like your team should be better coordinating arrows, because it makes a huge difference. Like you probably could have stayed there for a bit, maybe gotten a force if your scouts were at the right line of sights, I guess. And you worry way too much about getting these health packs. Like you could have spent a little bit longer healing, get a bit more Uber there, and it would have been fine, and still gotten the health pack. But you're losing out on a bit of percent doing things like that. And I wouldn't really ever take those situations. Like maybe like 1 in 100 times someone's actually gonna like super bomb you, and then maybe it'll make a difference. There, it wasn't necessary for you to be that close because their entire team is so far back. So you should kind of back up as soon as the heal target shows that the beam is close to him, so they can see the beam as he enters. So that's kind of a trigger for most roamers to jump. That situation, you can totally like negate that bomb by just backing up as soon as your heal target shows for like a half a second. You'll pretty much always be able to surf the rocket because he's gonna jump short, and those are easy surfs. And like I said, from your vantage point even, I could kind of tell that they weren't very close. There wasn't a whole lot of spam, and I think you saw some kind of angle that where their position was. So like you always want to be safe as possible based on the opponent's play. You never want to take a risk that isn't able to get anything in that situation. Even if you'd gone through clean, like you would have had a pretty bad Uber anyway if you decided to Uber there. So you saw that guy go under, so you want to be moving forward because he's just going to do that. But you definitely saw him there a couple times, especially through the holes. So yeah, that was pretty avoidable. That would have been last too. I don't know. That was a really big mistake on his part because it was very advertised. So I don't know why you and your team didn't deal with it, but looks like it isn't that big. You should be getting back. Oh, he's ahead. Never mind.
Alert. The control point is being captured.
See, right now I feel like you're pretty much unaggressible there. Or you can't get aggressed upon. That's probably a better way of saying it. So I don't know why you and your sniper didn't stay for a couple shots. And that soldier's a pick. There's no way his team can be that close. See, they came like 3 seconds after. There's no way that they could have helped him. So if you're a scout and you rush them, you probably had time to back up left. And then 5v6, and their med doesn't have it. So, like, I'm not sure what you kind of gained from not being there. And you should be up with your sniper here. Maybe he's just going to die, but you definitely want him to be doing something with his life, and having him not buffed is just ridiculous. And this mid's really hard to bomb into because it's all curvy and shit. Rockets get eaten a lot, so I don't feel like being that far back is ever acceptable. It's kind of ridiculous, especially if you stand like around here. You have something to fall off of, so the first rocket is a guaranteed miss at best. Don't go for that. Like, if you were just healing right now, you imagine how much health your scouts would have, or while you're one scout. This is good moving around with the oobs. You gotta worry about that guy behind you. You should have been kind of moving towards there with a person, because that was the only thing you were gonna get out of the Uber. But I'm assuming you missed him when you turned around. You just didn't see him. But yeah, taking that Uber towards him was good, and moving that Uber around was good. But you can't, you're really static in holds, and it's really detrimental to your team. I mean, I understood you had a sniper, but like for everyone to be covering everything, it's kind of a mistake just to be seeing around. Like when that roamer got popped up, it'd be pretty safe to just go over there and heal the scout or roamer, whatever there's there. And if they happen to Uber there, you have a better Uber because they're soloing into them. They're a group of people. At the very least, no one's there, and you buff up your flank, and you can kind of push with them for a second before getting back to your pocket, just to have a bit better health. Here, like, you should definitely be coordinating arrow or sure shot here. Like, there's so much healing just wasted on nothing, where you could be buffing people after arrowing. It really does make a huge difference, especially like with an invite coordinated team. I would expect it to be pretty easy to pull off. This guy on the pipe, I'd consider arrowing him. Even in this Uber, like, it makes a huge difference. We just resub, so that's fine. That was fine too. I don't know. So yeah, that was a mistake, I think. Jumping up there, as you saw them lower, pretty much signaled that roamer to jump. But if you backed off towards the left there, it would have been a lot better. You would have been able to dodge more easily. Like if he jumped a second sooner, he would have caught you as you were landing. It was pretty much game. I think he just missed really hard too, so he had the potential to kill you. Or the soldier, I don't know if it was a roamer. But yeah, like you don't want to be jumping when they're that close. It just presents an opportunity for people to kind of shit on your face. You're way too close here. If someone jumps from like that hiding spot on the left, or even from this overhang here, you will get forced. And there's no reason to be that close, because no one's ever going to be holding that close, so you don't need to worry about getting your players caught out. It's a little more concerning, like your distance to your heal targets when you're rounding that second corner, because people can actually be there. But I would never expect a group of people to be around that like wooden block, so I wouldn't be that close to your team. It's a mistake. Okay, so this scout, oh, never mind. That was the weaker scout. I don't know what you guys are doing, but it's really weird. Okay, your pocket's going way too far back. I feel like that roamer was a kill. If you had dodged his 2 rockets, and your pocket stayed with you, I think you extended too far, but I don't know if that's a play I would even be comfortable taking as a pocket or a medic, but it is a possibility. And then obviously there's that same thing where you're just not using your resources properly. Like medic is a tool for looking around. Like that's basically your job. Like anyone can heal. I mean obviously you can manage heal better. And everyone generally Ubers pretty well. But really just gaining information is really important. So you spending all this time, like, this is really minor, but just an example, you're spending all this time looking at your heal targets and like focusing on people before you get to them, which is a real waste of time. And you should be flicking around more, looking around a bit more. So like, for example, because nothing's really going on right now, this is looking like a pretty good hold. Maybe I would have followed that scout a bit actually on the right, just to give him a bigger buff. Like, I would say comfortably after the first 2 kills I would be confident in never dying in any situation as long as I played like remotely sane. So giving your scouts a bit more buff gives them a bit more working room, and they're really powerful on this last. But yeah, when you went to go back to buff your demo, you were out of range of him and you still spent those 2 seconds going to him and you jumped, which is a habit that I sometimes do. You never want to jump in holds, because weird shit can happen. I probably would have not walked over that either. But maybe I would have, I don't know. Those are tough calls when there's just a random ass sticky and your team doesn't really give a fuck. But I think you just jumped around that one pretty easily. But yeah, and this is a bad spot to hold because you get spammed pretty hard. This whole general area. But it's really good just to hold here, so I would maybe kinda hang out towards those stairs on the point. But yeah, you can get rocket spammed pretty hard from over here. Put down below 100, and that can trigger a bomb if they are keen. What are you doing? It's good to let you look around, but I think it should have been quicker, and the movement was kind of awkward there. It sucks that you didn't get a surf off those stickies. I don't know, like I still feel like the distance gained from being able to turn around and plus forward is pretty negligible, and you lose a whole lot of information, so I would never really do that. Here you have to make some kind of hero play. So you should be looking for arrows here, because normal healing will never cut it. Like arrows are like Uber Saw. Like you have to hit every arrow there to win, or like some clutch Uber Saws. So in that situation it's definitely correct not to just normal heal. No matter what your team does there, there's no way. Like they could hit like triple air shots. Two people could hit triple air shots, and I don't think it would matter. So you kind of have to like go huge with arrows or something, or get an Uber. But that was just a shitty situation in general. I go to buff your guy on the right now. Like if that's like from my perspective, if I was the guy on the right, I'd know I'd have a juicy setup for mid. Like it'd be really easy to kind of get in because they were heading over to the left. So you give him a big buff, he's like guaranteed to kind of get in and do work. And like the guy going under isn't gonna do anything on it, honestly. You and the scout and the demo could peek cafe and maybe try to catch someone, but that's about all you can aggress here without risking your Uber. I feel like most of these avenues to push are kind of wonky for two. If the meta beam was called deer or flank or valley, I don't know what people call it, you definitely have the opportunity to push up, choke with both your soldiers and kind of bomb behind them, but I don't know if that was the case. So you guys have a sniper again.
The control point is being contested.
Yeah, it's good that you stay back. Your soldier is pretty healthy and he should be able to do everything by himself. These players are more important. That was a good call. You should try for an arrow on that roamer when you saw him. Nice shot. Oh, that's weird. It's like he wasn't even in that fight. I don't know. But yeah.
Alert. Our control point is being captured.
That was a pretty desperate situation because they were kind of just collapsing on you guys. Not sure there was much different you could have done there besides healing like a bit better, like maybe leaving the soldier earlier because he had that pack to rely on, so he could have been there for a bit longer. And then being a bit braver and trying to hit up your scouts, but it puts you a bit at risk. Although I would take it, some wouldn't, so I don't know. I think that's worth an arrow because your people are pretty buffed right now, just trying to hit that guy up there. That's a good avenue to arrow too. You should be looking to do that more when your people are fully buffed. I'd look to arrow the roamer as he comes back because that's 60 health. It's a pretty good amount for only like a second. Good serve. Yeah, and you want to come back. Oh, they're bad. Good dodging. Yeah, I think it was right to come back because I would expect a good player to jump around if he really wanted you, and I think they really wanted you, so I think that was a good play.
Time has been added.
I think that was probably incorrect, like a little too early on the Uber. Obviously healing the spy for a second, but everyone does that. It's hard to get off people sometimes. But yeah, I think you Ubered a bit too early there. Could have been catastrophic if they kinda spammed a bit harder and bounced your people around it more. Then you probably would have lost that push. Like a second of just slowing you down, I think. But it didn't happen, so not a big deal. You should arrow this scout. He has no reason to be taking all that heal. I wouldn't go this way because you just saw the roamer head that way. Yeah, like he's definitely here. You could be gone already. Yeah, you definitely could have been out like the lower door or even very close to the shutter
Our
door.
control point is being captured.
If you had just gone that direction instead of going towards the medium health pack.
Time has
But yeah, that was really weird going that way. But yeah, like, I don't know, you kinda can't afford to heal people like that, I feel like, nowadays. He should've just backed up through choke and you could turn around and arrow him and then he's like right back in it. You really lose nothing for arrowing. Like, I think at the lowest you gain like something nuts like a 50 HP boost. Additional 50? That makes more sense. If you hit the, of course. I mean, it sucks to lose Uber Charge because you do it, but on mid, I don't think Uber is that important. And in general, like, in holds, I think the increased pressure is worth it. But definitely for mids, you don't see Uber come into play that often. So I would not be reluctant to use arrows to heal. Like, Shurt's just chilling there. He's kind of low on ammo, so you can definitely afford to just sit and have you arrow him. Same with that scout, he's already just chilling. Yeah, that's one of the downsides about arrowing people. You have to actually aim. So obviously right there, you didn't have much opportunity to look around. And the kind of pocket got on you there. So if you're ever like regular hitting, or just a small note, you need to be looking around more, and I would start trying to get more arrow heals in, and kind of set up like situations where it's impossible to miss with your team. It is really weird, your hold. Like, you never seem to be with anyone. I don't really know what's going on. And if they're down a soldier, I don't know why you're holding this far back. Like, I would have been more than happy to walk to people to get a bit more Uber charge. Like, I understand that you're back because they have Uber, but like, you yourself, I think it's unreasonable not to be healing people to get Uber charge. Because they're down a soldier. Like, there's not much that can really happen. So again, this is particularly important right now. You should always be looking around. That's a good spot. Maybe you heard him, that's a good call, or maybe someone called, but yeah. Back when I played a long time ago, I would always do like 180s every like couple seconds, and I would just make a note of it and make sure I did it. It's not like bad to work on. It's something you can kind of do to actually, I don't know. On medic, I had trouble finding things to improve on because it's mostly a team thing, and sometimes your team just doesn't function. So working on these mechanical things is something that you can actually control. So that's why I'm always like, look around more, you know, do 180s and arrow heals and stuff. Those are things that I feel like you can objectively control and positioning. Whereas team stuff, I won't recommend that much because I don't really know the situation. So I think you definitely need to Uber earlier there. Like, I'm not sure what that hold was. I'm not sure what this hold was. But you're definitely going to have to Uber somewhere in that fight. I feel like earlier, Sure Shot could have done something. Maybe killed that scout that was aggressing on him, and definitely forced them. right now, as it stands, they just kind of played you guys really hard, and they're probably gonna win this last if you don't set up some kind of heavy thing. Or meet them in lobby and hit them a bit, but it looks like they're already kind of, yeah. I think maybe you could try for an arrow on sure shot. But yeah, that was pretty lost anyway. If you arrowed sure shot, it may have been different. But he would have had to jump, more like rocket jump, in a way that it was really easy for you to arrow him, for that play to be consistent, which I don't think is that unreasonable. But it's a bit more difficult than most arrows, I would say. So I think it might probably be better to arrow that soldier that equalizes. So I think he has the potential to take a little bit of... No, it probably doesn't matter. So here, like, your roamer is just up top spamming. There's absolutely no reason not to arrow him there. Especially when you're winning so confidently. Like, you guys are crushing. Prior to that, your heals were fine, but I don't see why you would let that guy drop in such a commanding position.
Alert. The control point is being captured.
Hopefully my mic sounds okay. I think it's pretty shitty nowadays. So I hope it doesn't annoy anyone too much. But yeah, you need to be healing your scouts up. Also, obviously one of them should have been... one of them is collecting packs, so that's fine, but this push has a chance of failure because your buffs on your flank are really terrible. Yeah, and you're running your soldier into the pyro, but it turns out pretty good. I think maybe if they had been a bit more aggressive on their right side, they could have stopped people coming in from there and maybe gotten some kills, and that could have changed things up a lot. I really don't know how you got that scout on the left in. Seemed like a miracle. Didn't have a buff when he was coming in, but worked out. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's appropriate to arrow here or not. Like, if there's potential for him to... I don't think so. They'd have to do some kind of quick rollout. You should look to... I think you should be trying to arrow sure shot here. I don't know. It didn't matter. Like, you guys just crushed that mid again. The only really, like, dire person that needed an arrow was, like, Muffin, but I don't think he was in your line of sight, or it would have been an easy shot, so reasonable that you didn't go for it. I don't really get this, especially if 4% off of Uber. Like, I would not be comfortable doing that. Like, it's a good position to be in, but I don't understand why you wouldn't just have your pocket stay off the point. This is weird. You're wasting a lot of time. You guys should go for that kill. Alright, you got it. Just keep going. You want to be looking... This is a good grab. He should have been coming through a bit more confidently. And you want to be looking at... Like, fuck sure shot here, dude. Like, you can be buffing, crit healing so many people right now. But instead you're following fucking hero pocket. And it doesn't work, man. Like, that had no excuse. Oh, they almost defended that. There's, like, no excuse there. Like, you gotta buff your scouts there, and your roamer. Like, it would've made such a difference, and sure shot could just sit back, or even jumped in and kinda played a bit less aggressive. Yeah, like, I can't justify doing that. Ever. Like, he has to hit everything, and it's so unlikely. I think healing the scout there first may have been a bit more appropriate, just because the demo's not going to take a lot of damage. And if he does, I don't really care. But also, I think you may have been able to snag him before he took damage and still had crit heals. But I'm not sure what happened before you got there. But definitely, I think it's a better idea to kind of buff scouts up first. just because they'll be able to deal with anything that gets on the demo if he's not already there. Or if nothing's already on him, that is. And Demo Man can kinda take a little bit of spam before he really needs heals. Like, you don't really need him at 260 or even 175. Good that you're hiding the beam. I wouldn't hide it over here. Like, you used to play Cafe, that was fine. So you're heading over there. And I don't like the scout building. Like, your scouts need to figure out where they are, like, at 50%. This is a good push by them. But they kind of fuck it up. They miss some shots. I feel like they could have stopped your crits there. And I think a soldier crit would have been more appropriate, but it worked out. I think if they had a slightly better timing, they would have been able to kill you there. I think that was a really good push on their part. They just mistimed it a little bit. Maybe needed more people. I feel like an under crits can work well off on their left. If they're on the left, and a left crits will work well if they're on the right. So you should be going off of their position. You should run down there to your scout, dude. Like, I don't know what you're doing, because that guy's a guaranteed kill. If you keep your scout up, it's like game, dude. So I don't know why you wouldn't go to that guy. It seems really closed-minded of you, I guess. I don't know, that's not the right word. Yeah, this is not gonna work anymore.
Alert. Our last control point is being captured.
Like, I don't know. You should have taken that soldier pick, and then I think I was definitely right about where I said to crits from. Like, you crits from the top right into the top right. I don't think that'll ever work. I think the angle going from main or dungeon, whatever you call it, is too harsh if you're shooting them on the right. So left, I think, is really strong for hitting on the right. Did you hit that arrow? Yeah, you did, I think. That was a good arrow. But yeah, left is strong for hitting people on the right, and dungeon or main is strong for hitting people on the left. I don't know why you'd ever consider critting into them, like directly into them. That's unfortunate. I don't think you needed to go through that door though. Like, you could have just moved further towards the left wall and still been able to kind of get him as far as he needed to be. Like, if he went beyond that heal beam range, I would consider it pretty unrealistic. But at the very least, you could have spent at least an extra couple seconds just staying away from that door. But no, I probably would have done that. I just naturally kind of do that for most doors. I think I do, at least. Something good you can work on there. I mean, of course it's kind of dumb that your team didn't check it, but, you know. It's not, I don't know, I don't review these to tell you things that your other players could have done better. It seems kind of counterintuitive. See, I think you're way too close here too, and by being further back you also have a better sight line of the right side, which isn't really being covered right now. So that's what I'd be kind of more concerned with, rather than being close here. Like, realistically nothing can happen unless it comes under, and you also have a bit earlier time to react there if you're on the ground. But yeah, nothing's gonna happen to these dudes up here. Unless they come under. So you can see them under if you're back there. This is a bad spot to be ending the Uber. I think you're fortunate that you didn't instantly die. Yeah, I don't know if I would have been comfortable dropping down there. But you definitely had headed the right direction afterwards. Maybe hugged the tower a bit more so you could get further towards choke, but that seemed pretty good to me. I don't know why you don't look at the scout, because you could just dodge him there, you know? Like, I don't know, you're not bad at dodging, so I don't know why you wouldn't just move around a bit instead of just jumping, looking away from him. Like, that's just easy kill. I mean, obviously you get to surf off his shot, but you can do that while looking at him too, so I don't really get the benefit of that. But, yeah, if you want my advice, and I don't know if it's great anymore, but you need to look around more when you're just normal healing. You need to set up more arrow heals. Your positioning relative to the risk your heal targets are in is kind of wonky sometimes. You're really close when there's not a whole lot of risk to them, which puts you in some bad situations sometimes. And sometimes you're a bit too far away when there's a lot of risk. And obviously that crits thing, it's more of a team thing, but I feel like it's your job to kind of direct them when you have the crits, so you know, you want to be critting from a reasonable location. And yeah, you turn around a lot when you're in fights. Like, sometimes it's correct, but like, it's really like you're giving up a whole lot by not looking at them. Like, you lose your ability to dodge, your ability to recognize that your team might be able to make plays and stay in a bit longer, your ability to make plays like by arrowing or something, and you really only gain the, like 10 like velocity by moving in a straight line. Because if you're plus backing and strafing in a direction, you're not gonna lose any speed. Like, the only technical loss is in distance because you're strafing. So like, it's a minor problem, but I think it would matter like 1 out of 100 times. So I don't think it's appropriate to turn around and just do that. And again, I think you're really scared of things that can't happen. Like, a couple times you would be really far back and not just building Uber, losing like 5% and not handing out buffs very well because you were afraid of a bomb that probably wasn't realistic. Especially that one time the soldier was down and you were straying away from people instead of building Ubes. And I think in holds, and in general, you'd do your team a service if you kind of roamed a bit more and hung out with the roamer and the scouts. And yeah, your Ubers are too only sure shot. That doesn't work. Especially on that map, I don't think it's very good for pockets. But I could be totally wrong. But yeah. Like, on last especially, it's really crucial that you get people in with the end of the Uber instead of following your pocket further. Like, realistically, he could die, and if he's out of ammo, it's really not that much different than if he were alive. Like, he'd just spend most of his time reloading if he was still alive. It's still a lot of damage. His soldier's kind of nuts, but I definitely think a lot of times on last you need to be getting your scouts in. That's about it. Yeah. Good luck, friend.